Check, check, 1, 2. Check, check. Check, check, 1, 2. Okay, that looks good. You can see me, hopefully. So, this one is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be quick or not, but I'm doing another of these poem videos. I want to hide this follower count thing. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So today, oh, that's spelled wrong. Hold on. Oh God, I need a beer. Today, I'm gonna get a beer. Hold on. I need like some, I'm gonna smoke some weed in a sec, so I'll hold out. Look at this beautiful joint I rolled. Anyways. Oh God, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I have another poem that I'm going to read and discuss, not at very much length. So last time I talked about the poetry collection from 1962 by Purdy, Poems Through All the Annettes, which was kind of his breakout, poetry collection. And then in 65, he won the Governor General for Caribou Horses. But Poems Through All the Annettes kind of marked his demarcation from being a nobody to a nobody who wrote terrible poems to someone who wrote quite good poems. And so one of those poems from that collection, and right now I'm trying to document, there are poems that I like, but I can find them online. I'm trying to prioritize poems by Purdy that are not, if not accessible at all on the internet, are not easily accessible. I tried to find this one because I try to find them before I do this. And like this one was like locked in a PDF behind like 7 different websites that are the same website with like 7 different domains, and is locked behind like a paywall, credit card scam bullshit, obvious thing. So I once again typed it out. So fuck you, those websites that are just trying to scam people who are trying to read, scam people who are trying to gamble, they're losing their money anyways, but don't scam people who are just trying to read, man. Like, come on. Don't scam kids or the elderly, like come on. Anyways. So I'm going to switch over now to not me fucking being a lunatic. This is the wrong display. There we go. So here I am in the bottom here. And this is the poem. So I'm not sure about the accentuation, the capitalization, some of these words. I'm just going to assume that's right. And then you see these other tabs here. I'll discuss some parts of the poem after. Just for context, because I find it interesting. And it's also references a lot of Canadian history, so let's go through this. So this is the poem from the collection. It's the first poem, I'm pretty sure, in the collection. I have a copy I could check, but it matters not really. But it is called Poem for One of the Annettes, and the collection, the book is called Poem for All of the Annettes. So just keep that in mind, as this is the poem from the book, but this is a different title. It is Poem for One of the Annettes. Which one of you Oh, now I recognize that tear-stained pro-Semitic nose, shaped wonderfully for your man Murray's kisses, but he left, didn't he? Oh, Annette, cry like hell for Columbus, Ohio, and Taos, New Mexico, where he is and you're not, as if the world had ended, has ended, and it has. Or the Anita with undressed hips that could break a man in half in bed, in big unpainted Rubens breasts, affixed to a living woman, swinging high over Montreal, as if the whole damn town was a whorehouse full of literarily inclined millionaires with a yen for your kind of dirty story book love, and it is. Or Janine from Poland, who's a citizen of Canada, knocked up in Montreal by a Yank from Columbus, Ohio, and abandoned, and the abortion took place in the town of Montreal, and the fetus had no name. Cry for your own bad judgment in loving him, with good tears that will not fall, but stay. In the blue beginning of every evening, when factory watchmen are coming on duty and silent lovers are as visible as moths hovering on street corners, in eccentric silver orbit, as permanent as any in Maisonneuve's cynical metropolis. Cry the common sickness with ordinary tears, as if they would flood the whole quasi-romantic town of Montreal with the light of your darkness and follow the gutters. Is it follow the gutters? Hold on. Sorry to interrupt the flow here, but I have to know if I typed this wrong. And follow the gutters, as if they would flood the whole quasi-romantic town of Montreal with the light of your darkness, and follow the gutters and sewers glowing down through sewage disposal plants by the river and into the industrial waste of your dreams to the sea, the shapeless, mothering, one-celled sea. Oh, Anita, they do. So I messed up the reading of that a bit. And I would do it again, but then I'd have to like redo the whole video. I don't think people are going to care too much. You can read it anyways and pause it and just read it as I'm doing this, if you really want the poem. But in any case, that's the poem, and I really love this poem. Mostly, well, the large thing is he's experimenting a lot with spacing and kind of the space on the page in between words and things, and it's just a really beautiful poem as well. Just talking about Montreal and stuff, but like just kind of the shaping and the alignments of these things are interesting as well. Like it is aligned with like the C, and just kind of these two syllable it has is aligned as well, and the as ifs. So just kind of visually, and then as you read it out loud and to yourself, you kind of it makes a nice pattern. I don't know anything about poetry in terms of like the correct grammar and stuff. I took an intro course, I think, in first year university, but I don't really remember much. But in any case, visually it's nice, and overall I think it's a very solid poem. So just going through some of the specifics, immediately the kind of question you might ask is, who is Annette, or who are the Annettes? And maybe potentially from the book title you assume there's more than one, and then from the book title you assume that, and then from the poem title it's revealed that it's a poem for one of the Annettes, And Purdy surprisingly knew a few Annettes. You know, I mean, I guess that's not that surprising, but I don't know that many Annettes, I guess. So, speaking from experience, anyway, so it's the way the poem is kind of, well, I'll tell you who the Annette is. So I thought it might have been Annette Ballin, because in Reaching for the Beaufort Sea, Purdy's autobiography, on page 220, he mentions Annette Ballin and I went to see Milton when he was still at one of those dirty, near slum rooms he lived in, the only kind he could afford. So he mentions Annette Ballin. He does not mention Annette, the actual Annette, in the book so far, and I'm almost done it. I've got like a 20 pages left. So it is not this Annette. I'm pretty sure he's not referencing her in any way, but who knows? So I'll just close that. But it is in fact Annette Murray, also known as Annette Singer, Anna Murray, and Janina, apparently. This is from her obituary. So just a bit about Anna Murray, because she is the topic of this poem. Born in Poland, Jewish Warsaw family, Holocaust survivor family. It was, you know, they lived there during the 40s, and you know, which is obvious for obvious reasons, is going to be very difficult and horrible for them. Moved to Montreal, I guess in 1949, or at some point they moved to Montreal. I'm not sure when, but in any case, I'm not sure if she did anything specifically in terms of art making. But she seems to have known a lot of people. She was in that Montreal kind of scene with all these people that, you know, you can read. And I'll link these in the description of the YouTube video if you want to read and are curious about it. But she seemed like an interesting person. And even if you look up Anna Murray, you won't find her. You'll find Anne Murray. So that's just something to know. But she was just kind of, she was just like in that scene, just some kind of beautiful, intelligent woman who's part of that scene. And Purdy, she became friends with Purdy and Urith. And she married Jim Murray, which is where she got the Murray last name instead of Singer, who is an Irish-born, but I think played in America and Canada, I guess, as well, folk singer. And he's also not super well known either. If you look him up, you'll find some like English writer, I think. And then finally, just another reference is the line unpainted Rubens breasts. And Rubens is a painter. And you can just see from these photos that he kind of had a fascination, I guess, with plump women and plump breasts. So that's an interesting photo. So I guess Annette had good breasts, or big unpainted Rubens breasts. I like the line unpainted because upon my first reading, I was like, okay, these breasts aren't covered in ink or paint, I guess, but it's just the idea that these breasts are real, which he kind of reiterates in the line, affixed to a living woman. These are not art. They are They're on a real woman, a living woman. And so throughout the poem, Purdy references Annette in different ways. Calls her Annette, he calls her Anita, Janine, Anita again. But the title affirms for us that it is a poem for one of the Annettes. So perhaps she kind of had, I mean, we know she spoke 5 different languages at least. So perhaps she had different kind of personalities she would put on, or stories. And pro-Semitic nose, you know, that kind of Jewish shaped nose. The Semitic nose. And Murray, your man Murray's Kisses, Jim Murray. I'm not too sure what Columbus, Ohio and Taos, New Mexico. Perhaps he was touring and he attended those places. Also, just love the line, Anita with undressed hips. Because you could just say naked or, you know, bare. But just the word undressed is just, it's just a very, I love that. He talks about Montreal, which is great. And then, so mentioning, when he says Janine, also, we know that she was also called Janina, which is perhaps like her Jewish, like, birth given name, perhaps. I'm not sure. Because Janina and like Anna are kind of similar. So, and here's this yank from Columbus, Ohio, and we have Columbus, Ohio again. So she might have also had a relationship with someone from Columbus, Ohio, because, Jim Murray was born in Ireland, and I'm not sure if he lived in Columbus, Ohio or not. His Wikipedia page is like, you know, you can see here, extremely short, not a lot of information on this guy. So I don't know if there's 2 men being referenced here or just Jim, but we do know that Anna Marie had a child who tragically died at the age of 19 in a freak car accident. So she may have also been knocked up by someone to quote that turn of phrase, and then the abortion, and had an abortion. And then there's just kind of a nice description of like Montreal here in Maisonneuve, which is the area I live in. And just this like last kind of, it's not really a stand, I guess it's a stanza, I don't really know, but it's just very nicely, just it because the context of it is that her tears would flood the town of Montreal, and then he kind of follows them down through the gutters and sewers, through the sewage disposal plants by the river, and then into the industrial waste, which Montreal at the time, I think, had a problem with waste being put in the river. So that's also reference to that. But just the flow of this, the flow of the stanza here, just kind of a continuous, no break, long unbreaking, and just kind of reflects that visual of tears flooding and flowing without break into, and then as soon as they reach the sea, then it breaks out. The sea, the shapeless mothering one-celled sea, like as waves, and then to break, and then oh Anita, they do. And I love the word oh. I've started to use it a lot in my work. It's just like a very sympathetic word. Like saying Anita, they do. It's like, it's more of it feels more of like a statement. I mean, it is a statement. but it feels more like it has more of a superiority, I feel like, to it. Like Anita, they do. Whereas like, oh, Anita, it's like, and it's like, it's not, that's not like a revelation either, what I'm saying, but it's just nice. Like, it's the way he writes at this point as well, when he reads this book, and it's a lot more conversational. Like this, close to how people might talk. Like, which one of you? Oh, no, I recognize that tear-stained pro-Semitic nose. And then, you know, it becomes poetic, but it kind of starts and ends with that. Oh, like the, it's if he's talking to her, like calming her. You know, it's for Annette. It's for Anne-Marie. So that was pretty much all I wanted to talk about with that poem. Bit shorter. This video's 20 minutes. Holy shit. Let's say it was shorter, but it's not really talked about. I still haven't, to be honest, I haven't gotten through. I'm about as far as I was when I uploaded the last video in Sam Selecki's essay, because I was reading the autobiography, which was just like really interesting. So I just kind of got into that, and I'm almost done it. So I'm gonna go back to the essay because I have to return those books eventually. Not that anyone will take them out, but yeah. So I'll put the poem in the description, and I will link. I'll link the obituary, and this article is like, not. It's got some good photos. And I didn't actually read all of this. I thought it ended earlier. But yeah, so I'll link these. She threw wild parties in Outremont featuring flamenco dancers. Wow, this is great. Man, I gotta go to. I want to go parties like this, man. Shit. I would have loved to go to a party with Purdy. Although, according to his autobiography, he would mostly he would attend the party for like. If it was a bad party, he'd be there for like 10 minutes, and then he'd go to the kitchen, find where they hid the beer, and then just start drinking it, and then leave. Or find somebody interesting and go and talk to them. Yeah, he has a line, Purdy, in his autobiography about going to parties and seeing people, and he'd say, if he saw someone interesting at a party, his mind would go, like, I like that person, I want to know them, you know? And I feel like I need to start applying that, because I'm kind of shy, but I see people and I'm like, oh, I should go up and talk to them. But not in public, and more, like, public is not a place I want to disturb people, you know? But like at a party or like a bar, it's like, it's kind of a social area, so it's more justifiable to go and do that. Anyways, that's the end of that. This is probably less chaotic. I ate some hot dogs before I started the video, and my sink was clogged. Man, gotta call a fucking stupid real estate company tomorrow. Okay, this is done.